Colour is an integral part of visual storytelling. Audiences naturally have psychological reactions to various different colours, which when put into the right context can reinforce or even create the emotional situation of a scene, and potentially give an insight into the subtext behind a particular moment. One of the first movements of film that used this to great success was the German expressionists in the interwar period of the Weimar Republic. Directors would colour their film stock to give their work a distinctive look, and audiences a gateway into their character's state of mind. The entire artistic school of thought that straddled all of the visual arts at the time emphasised the artist's inner feelings or ideas over replicating reality, and used simplified shapes and bold colours to do this. However, due to the limitations of the medium at the time, it wasn't until Hollywood adopted Technicolor that filmmakers were really able to express all of the subtleties that they wanted to, with a much more diverse palette of hues. Today we're going to be looking at La La Land, a movie that uses colour as one of the primary techniques, not just to showcase the psychology of its characters, but also to assist in telling the story of the piece. Director Damian Chazelle and his cinematographer Linus Sandgren have created a mixed palette which, through clashing, complementing and strategically placed colours, are able to use them to go far beyond the simple associations that are often attached to certain shades. Red is the colour of anger. In the beginning, Mia is marked as sad in the blue dress that she wears, but when she heads to the bathroom during the opening I Want song, she is additionally bathed in a red, denoting that her unhappiness comes from her anger. This is then returned to later on in the piece, when she is about to head out onto the stage to perform her one-woman play, her face filled with a much darker shade of red as her anger has grown. As she steps into the spotlight though, we see that the red is left backstage, her discarding her anger before she steps in front of an audience, into the bright white lights where her head is clear and free. However, red is also the colour that is associated with Sebastian. He is the adventurous life that Mia wants more than anything. As the pair of them get to know one another, Mia begins to incorporate more and more red into her wardrobe, and discards the blues of her previous sadness. Although when she goes into an audition after first meeting Sebastian, she dresses in a distinctive red jacket, longing to immediately be the person that she hopes she will be because of their initial interaction. The audition does not go well, and afterwards she symbolically removes it back to reveal a blue shirt, with only small parts of red incorporated. It is telling that then she drives past the movie theatre, where Sebastian has invited her on a date. The sign at the front of the building a bright red beacon, seemingly calling to her. This signage is then dulled later on in the piece, as their relationship deteriorates, and the movie theatre metaphorically closes, visually confirming to us the trouble that the pair of them are going through. Mia eventually skips out on the date that she is in the middle of with her current boyfriend at the restaurant, and decides to go and watch the film with Sebastian, walking through a distinctive red spotlight that ushers her into her new life of passion and adventure. Red is even returned to at the end of the film, when Mia makes the decision for her and her now husband to take the exit on the freeway and go to get dinner. It foreshadows that she will once again run into Sebastian at the jazz club that he has opened up. Green is the colour of envy or jealousy in the piece. When we are first introduced to it, it is streaked across Mia's face as she watches Sebastian play the piano in their apartment. He is lit from behind in the same green, signalling that he is the object of her jealousy as he begins to forge his own career when she is struggling to. This exact same motif is then returned to later on. But however, it has now morphed into not just a jealousy or an envy of him, but a more bitter and twisted jealousy that is wedged inside her, which is not really directed at anyone, but the business as a whole, because she is unable to make her own way in the world. She is now framed in green that dominates the frame, and seemingly has consumed her entirely. In addition, the candle that was supposed to be a romantic gesture now flickers against the faces of the pair, externalising the anger that is building as they fight with one another. A bonus orange to add to the colours telling a story here. Although it is interesting to chart the visual journeys of the reds, greens and blues in the narrative, it is the colour purple that is most worthy of analysis in the piece. In If It's Purple Someone's Gonna Die, The Power of Colour in Visual Storytelling, Patti Ballatoni states that purple is the beyond the body colour, and has strong connections to the non-physical world. The purples in La La Land do indeed give the setting of Los Angeles a dreamlike quality. But they also foreshadow to us that, although there will be no literal death in La La Land, the relationship that Sebastian and Mia embark upon is indeed doomed, as the pair of them are frequently lit in purple, or are framed with purple close by them in several instances. In addition, the entirety of the final moments of the piece as Mia visits Sebastian's club are lit in a deep and powerful purple, which gives their final moments an ethereal quality, as she, he, or both of them imagine the life that they could have had together. There is one other way that colour assists in telling the story of La La Land, and that is how the colours of the world blend, or don't, with one another. At the beginning of the piece, there are colours everywhere, all merging and mixing together in a discordant mass. This could be used to understand that each and every person involved in the rat race of LA has their own wants and needs that they are individually pursuing. However, it could also represent how no one really fits in this town, and are simply clashing with it. This is later reinforced by the montage of Mia's auditions, when she is filmed against bold backdrops, which are deliberately chosen to be at odds with the outfits that she wears. This is however rectified in the closing number, as colours are grouped together in the order of a complementary palette, having found their match, neatly organised in a perfect world. So, what can we learn from the colours of La La Land? As Academy Award-winning cinematographer Roger Deakins said, people confuse pretty with good cinematography. As it is with everything when making a film, the way that things are framed and lit should have to service the narrative rather than simply be there to look great. You can and should always create work that has a style to it, but behind the style there has to be substance, and that substance should always be story.